I'm trying their Wi-Fi. I tested the Wi-Fi and the uploads is really bad. It just is. It's like 20 megabits per second. The upload speed was up in the 70s, like 78. So that's good enough for a live stream as far as I know. So I tested see what resolution it was at. It was at 21 something, so like 4K. So it said so using the app, Speed Test, which is an awesome app. Thank you guys for, uh, so I tested that, it's just basically, then hit it and it starts testing it for you and stuff. But you can also test everything else. So like right now, it's an awesome little app. It tells you if it's good for gaming, good for live stream, good for. So you see how bad that. Oops, what did I just do? See how bad that is? That's the download speed. Just hovering above 11. That's terrible. So this is the Wi-Fi here. So I don't know how pixelated I'll get. So why did it stop there? Anyway. Oh no, the upload speed is terrible. I don't know what's going on with this. Anyway, that's terrible. I've ever figured that out. How's the picture, guys? Actually, do I still have a signal here? Give me a second. I'm not sure if I'm actually still alive or not. Yeah, but how is the picture? I'm not picking up the picture on my phone. So is it pixelated? Picture quality is not good. Okay. That's crazy because I tested the uprate. Okay. Oh yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, that's way pixelated. Sorry, there's a delay in on my phone here. Yeah, that's terrible. When I tested the upload speed, it was at like 70 something, so it should have been more than enough. But yeah, so that's terrible. And then when I just now tested it, it was down like the upload was terrible. It was like hovering around 5 bits per second. Okay, that's because it's switched back to data. I had to switch back to data. Okay, well now we know. It's crazy because I tested the upload speed and all this and the resolution and all that, and it came out where the resolution was good at 4K. It was at 70 something up. So, the only thing is the difference between me being in my room and over here. That should, so I have no idea what's going on there. So anyway, we know we can't use that. The upload speed seems to be all right though. That's the weird part. But like when I upload a video, it's not like super bad. It's not like 5G good or anything, but it's not like super bad. So yeah, just I think this day 83 here, guys. So I'm trying to keep track mentally what days it is. That way it's easier on me because I label days on all my videos. It's easier for me. Otherwise, I'll have to go back and go through YouTube and go, what was the last what was the last video I uploaded? What day was it? And anyway, I went out exploring a little bit yesterday. So I went to look at the trailheads, and it was kind of crazy because trying to find the trailheads was a little bit difficult, but I was able to locate one area, so I didn't need to go out and hike it now. I did it in the evening. I still got enough material, just riding my bicycle around and stuff like that for the day. I found a Chinese graveyard that I went into. it was kind of unlisted, but it was by a temple, and it went up on top of the hill, and that's how all the Chinese graveyards seem to be built on like a hill. But it was a great viewpoint, so it was like kind of like an unlisted viewpoint. So that was kind of like a cool little gem I found. It was a nice view of the city and the 188 building over on the side and everything. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing is because I just tested it, so that's the difference. So the other spots, 15 ringgit more, per night, right? So I could use that 15 ringgit and just put it on a data, so one night's savings actually pays for my data plan for the next 9 days. So I'll just do that. And the upload speed here is good enough that I can get away with uploading my videos. But even one of my videos resetted yesterday. So I don't know. And when I just tested the internet again, it just was like, it was at like 5 megabits per second. I'm like, wow, that's not enough for a live stream. So I don't know if it's like, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if the quality is. I've never seen swings that big though. Yeah. So you guys were talking about in the chat room just a little while ago. Basically the touch and go system here in Malaysia, very popular. Everybody uses it, where they basically just scan the QR code and it shows that you paid and all that, and you just show the person. Also, you guys are talking about that you can also just use it for the NFC system. So basically, touchless system. Thing is the cash is so widely accepted in Malaysia, it might not be worth that extra step. Retopping up the card and stuff. I just keep my wallet full. You know what I'm saying? It's just, go to the ATM, pull out 1,000 because I'm going to need it. 1,000 lasts me quite a while, quite some time. I haven't clocked it exactly, but yeah, 1,000's about, when you get down to it, it's about $250. So that lasts, let's see, how long does that last? That lasts a month. It might, yeah, I think it might last a month. So then the extra step of going down to the 7-Eleven and just putting money down on the card and all that stuff, and getting the app and stuff. I know after I get the app, then it's just a matter of going in and paying. But the fact is not, I think the touch and go is more or less just Malaysian bound and based and everything. Like Thailand has their own version, which I try to set up the Thailand one with no lock. But then, as long as they accept cash, then I just pay in cash. Is it necessary that I go through that extra step to actually get a touch and go? No, like with transportation, yeah, definitely. Like in Japan and also here, I still have my train ticket card, which I have on me. I can use it anytime over in KL. I don't know how far out it stretches from KL, but that's very convenient because now you can just run and tap everything and as you go on and off, and it usually will tell you, it'll charge you for the distance you go, and all that. So you don't have to, it cuts out a lot of steps. It makes it a lot easier where the scan and pay type thing, it doesn't seem like it's I think it's adding a step instead of taking away a step. I don't know. So yeah, touch and go is, I'm not saying, I know a lot of people use it. A lot of people prefer not to carry around cash and stuff like that. So if I didn't want to carry cash or something like that, I guess so. But it seems like an extra step that I don't. Yeah, it's just because everybody accepts cash, and it doesn't seem like there's a problem. Like in Morocco, a lot of times they want to tell you they don't have change and stuff like this, and you know it's just their ploy for hopefully they say, oh, I'll just keep the change, but um, everybody has change here. The only thing I've ran into a problem with in Malaysia is that once you start getting into $100 bill, which is only 25 bucks, right? Now they're a little more hesitant to cash something like that, just probably because it robs their register of change, you know. And that's how it was in the United States too. First thing in the morning when you open your register, you don't want someone come up and start breaking the hundreds on you. But okay. Oh, touch and go is an easy way to receive money. Ah, okay. Um, Let me ask you something. If you get a touch and go e-wallet and you pay someone out of your e-wallet, right? So I mean, let's say, I'm assuming you could line up, like my e-wallet is GPay. It's just the one I have. Um, uh, the Samsung wants the two-step verification. I was like, yeah, no one really. Samsung Wallet's not really universally accepted, I don't think, but the e-wallet, GPay used to be pretty well universally accepted, and now it doesn't seem like any, you know, I don't know. So if I link those two, can you actually receive payments, or is that like a separate app altogether? Like sometimes there's the paying app and the receiving app, or can you use the same app? Can someone else pay you through the same app? So like if they needed to transfer money into your account, can you do that on the, let's see. Okay, thank you. Doug just basically answered my question. I just didn't see it there. Okay, my secret. Sorry, I guess you did already answered that. Touch and Go is a great way for American Hobo fans to support them financially if they wish. It's easy to send money to your Touch and Go. You wallet. Okay. Okay, so there you go. And thank you, Doug. You came to the rescue again. So, okay. And can you rob a bank with a touch and go? Put all the money into my account. Just joking. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and set one up. Yeah, I was just thinking along the lines of just paying with it, but I didn't think about the possibility of receiving cash in those situations. Yeah, I just overlooked your answer there, Doug. Thank you. So it's just basically, I just need to download the app, and then go into 7-Eleven and top up, you know, get a top-up card, right? And then put the code in, and you put all that information for me already over in the Telegram. The Telegram, guys, for whoever doesn't know, the link's in the description of the videos. It's open to anybody that wants to get a hold of me or talk to me. It's usually one of the last things I check because it's just one of those things that YouTube usually takes priority, and connected to YouTube are the comments in YouTube. So it's my priorities are usually listed. Getting the video edited and out the quickest that I can, which that takes up the most time, and then comments. I try and keep up with the comments. I'm still able to. But then, you know, then over to the Telegram board. But sometimes I overlook the Telegram board for a few days by accident. I just forget to do it. Or you can send your QR that is generated by the app. Okay, I got you. Touch and Go is a supercharged bank account. Okay. Yeah, like I said, that's pretty well just Malaysia. The Touch and Go here is more or less just because I can't remember which one was for Thailand, but there was one for Thailand. But Thailand, it was harder to use cash for some reason. So it was easier to use the app. But I tried to set it up once, and it was the same thing, trying to link my card up to it. And it's sometimes I run into things when I try and do it online. I run into problems. My bank's not so trustworthy about a lot online purchases and stuff like that where they are if I just go directly and use my card. I don't know what's going to happen once my card gets demagnetized. I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and make a trip back to the United States. And I don't know if I do that, then it's back to hopping trains. I've never explored South America the whole time of living in Northern America. I actually never went down to South America, and there's actually you can ride the whole West Coast all the way down from Alaska all the way down through to the little horn of South America. There was one guy that actually did it. He wrote a book on it too, but he kind of has the biker attitude. That means bad attitude. Bicyclers, I notice kind of sometimes some of them, not all of them, some of them end up getting a very angry, bad attitude. Some of them have a great attitude towards life and stuff, but then the bicycling sometimes affects because of the traffic and stuff, which affects me this way too. So I have to be careful in a negative impact, where you start becoming the old grumpy man syndrome. It's like everybody goes by, you're like, yeah, you could have gave me more room, you didn't have to be so close to me, you don't need to honk your horn, all these things, right? If you let that thought process go, it'll consume you. So, but that I've noticed that is a common trait though amongst some cyclists, that they start to get that bad attitude, and you could see that in his writings in the book. He started up with the top of the world, up in Alaska, as far as you can get, as far as the road that actually was the Army built a long time ago. I think that they're the ones responsible. That's as far as north as you can pretty well get. And he rode all the way down to the very southern tip of South America, excuse me. But he got one of those two-seaters, where one person sits in front, one person sits in back, because he was going to do that way with his friend the whole way. That was like their challenge. But what happened was his friend bailed out after he got the bicycle. So now he has one of these bicycles where, someone sits in back, someone sits up front, and you both pedal together. But he didn't have anybody for back, so he just took off anyway and picked up people along the ride that wanted to just, pedal along and back for a while. So that was his whole gimmick. It was just like, hey, you want to ride? You want to see how far you can go with me? So I can't remember the name of the book, but yeah. But you could see that even though the concept was an awesome concept, right? And he did make it. As far as I remember, he made it. But to read it was like, you had to struggle through his really bad negative attitude with such a great concept. And, even his father went with him for a while, and his father had a little bit of problem with his attitude and stuff. I mean, I think, he fully he fully admits that, his attitude wasn't the best. But anyway, that was just one of the books I read, and it's one of those concepts. That is a cool concept. It just, I guess you have to be ready for that. That's like trying to go across a country on a unicycle. You know what I'm saying? That must hurt after a while. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Japanese has their own little cards that you get, and their cards, you just go up to the vending machine and you stick in the money, and you get back, you get a card that's fully loaded and stuff like this, and it's good for Subways, 7-Elevens and stuff like this. And since, a lot of times you're eating at the 7-Elevens because they had a really good selection of fresh food. Like, what I mean by fresh food is like food that was prepared that day, and if it's not sold that day, then it's off the shelf. It's not like 1 day old anything. Japan just knocks it out of the ballpark when it comes to 7-Elevens and the Family Marts. Like, if you look at your 7-Eleven and go over there, you're like night and day difference. One's like a supermarket compared to, with what's over here is not really even a 7-Eleven. But they knock it out, but they also have the best, you know, we used to call them convenience stores, but they have the best convenience store, like 7-Elevens, and also toilets, which is kind of weird because there's like no in between transition. It's like it went from a hole in the ground to like Star Trek Enterprise. There's like no in between. There's no like just normal toilet. So you'll still run into the toilets that are like just the hole in the ground and right next to like like the Star Trek Enterprise. I don't think it can transfer teleport you anywhere, but but it is. Their toilets are pretty awesome. Almost a little too awesome. Like there's some functions on that you don't need, like the singing little birds and stuff like that, and the music in the background when you sit on the toilet. You don't need calming music, I don't think, while you're sitting down. But this toilet seats heat up. That little butt sprayer is like dead on accurate, and it's one of those things that receipts back so you don't even see it. And it only comes out if you hit the button. There's an off button, people. You don't have to wait until it's done. I know some people don't know that, and they're like, it won't usually shut off for a long time unless you hit the stop button. Um, yeah, Japan's weird. It's weird in a good way. It's just I'd never seen anything like a country like where they're very, very, very quiet, right? I mean, like everything's so quiet, and then you go into a Don Quixote's, which is like a Walmart on crack. It really is, man. You go in and it's so loud, and like lights are just flashing everywhere, and it's so confusing to get through. I mean, it's pretty awesome though, because it's almost like being at a carnival because all the lights and you get that like you just stepped into into like a freak show circus or something, but it's like a Walmart on crack. And that store's such a big contrast in how life is on the street. And then the convenience stores are like you'll have Lawson's and then 7-Eleven and then Family Mart all competing with each other. And so they're all like you'll see all three of them on one block. You haven't even walked one block and you have already walked by. Like every other store is almost a convenience store. The inside's really good food and stuff, and cheap if you're not eating fresh vegetables and fruits, which is kind of weird because there isn't, which is kind of weird because they're like, oh, food is reasonable. Well, that's because you're eating noodles and rice, a lot of noodles and rice. But if you go up into like the mountain countries and stuff like this, and you start getting into where the farmers are at, then you can have those little what is just voluntary stands, like they have their fresh fruit and vegetables, and it's the honor system. You put the money in the bucket type thing. They still have those in Japan. And they also have like a vending thing that I never got to actually use. It's actually the fruits and vegetables are in a little thing that you put your money in and open the door and take it out. And I thought that was a cool idea. But I've only saw one of those. The thing about the vending machines where you can get food from, like in the city and stuff, that's not necessarily true. You can get drinks. You can get a lot of drinks. There's like sodas and coffee machines and everything like this everywhere. But actually trying to locate one that actually has food in it is not that easy. But all their restaurants act like a vending machine. So when you walk in, you don't just sit down and wait for someone to serve you. You walk up to the machine and then you order whatever you want out of the machine. It spits you out a ticket and you hand it to the chef or the cook, and then you sit down and then they just bring you your food after it's done. So it works but if you sit down and you don't know that, you're going to be sitting for a long time. So it's actually pretty functional that way, because you just walk in, even if you're online, you hit the machine, walk over, go sit down, So okay, so Touch and Go's international. So can I use that? I'm assuming that means I can just use the same card from Indonesia over. Then it might have been in Thailand. It might have been Touch and Go I saw. So I'm assuming I can use the same Touch and Go across borders if it's just the same money in the same account, right? Let me say it does not work so well for you. Okay, yeah, my U Mobile's gone because I didn't realize I had it for a whole month, but I'm not re-upping that. I'm burning up the last bit of hot links right now. So I might just go hotspot to actually run my other phone off I just might run this off the hotspot and just use one card, but it is nice to have two cards because the increase in bandwidth, because if I just do the hotspot, then I'm working with the same bandwidth, but I can double my bandwidth if I do two cards. So, but then again, I'm paying for it too. I'll be paying for the extra bandwidth. And Japanese buy their convenience store items on demand. Okay. Yeah, no, and I think that's also the reason why there's no garbage cans. So I'm sorry. Flea said something about Japanese buy their convenience stores items on on demand. Convenience stores and vending machines are everywhere. That's why they don't need to carry anything in their backpacks. And that's why there's no garbage cans either. So but you need to know the trick is always get a plastic bag from, if you're going to be eating something or something, always get a plastic bag from the convenience store, and then carry your garbage in that. And the next convenience store you see always has a garbage can. And then you just open the door, go in, throw away your stuff, and leave. You don't need to buy something. But since there's like convenience stores, so many of them block by block by block, there's technically garbage cans everywhere. So it's just they're not street garbage cans. So yeah, it was kind of confused me because I was like, what are they? They must just be really good at hiding their trash because, but because the myth is that they all clean up because if they see garbage, they pick it up, because it's in their culture. But I've only seen one person actually walking around with cigarette butts in his hands because he was picking them up. So I actually only met one person actually, carrying around garbage. Now, out of politeness, anybody should do that. Anybody sees a piece of garbage and then a garbage can right there, should just pick up the garbage and throw it in there. But then you also see like a garbage can right here and someone just threw, empty cigarette package right there, and it's like, come on, man. Did your mom clean up your bedroom too, Do you not know how to walk 10 feet and throw it away, But some people are just like that. I don't know if they're angry at society. So over in Arizona and Phoenix, there was a battle going on between University of Arizona, like college, ASU, and the city. What happens is ASU was partially on one of the parks that was next to the bus station, right? So it was like bus station, building, park, right? Well, they kind of had like, I guess it would be off campus, on campus, because the dispute was who actually is in charge of actually policing and cleaning up this park. Well, the city wanted to say it was ASU, and ASU wanted to say it was the city. So the city pulled back all law enforcement and cleaning, and people that cleaned the park and stuff like that. They just pulled it back to see if ASU would actually step up and start taking care of it. Well, ASU decided, well, no, we're not going to, because if you're going to be that way, because I think the city was originally taking care of it. So rumor got out that no one was basically policing it, and a dispute was going on. So it was like, okay, free park for all the homeless people to sleep in, and also a spot where you can drink in the city and not get in trouble, because no one's policing it, no security from the campus and no cops from the city. So everybody just started sleeping in that park and drinking in that park. And I was next to one guy, even though the garbage can was right there, he would drink his beer. Unfortunately, he would go to the store, so you knew he was an angry guy, and just pick up like an 18 pack and leave, So he didn't, yeah, he was one of those people that are heading towards, jail bound. He was like, yeah, you're going to jail eventually. Some people are like that. They're upset that they're homeless, and they want to blame it on society or blame it on whatever they want to blame it. It's usually their attitude and the way they are is what got them that way. It's just they want to blame everybody else for it. But he would drink his beer and just throw it on the ground. And even though there's a garbage can right there and another one right there, so I didn't do anything. I would just, I'd drink my beer and stuff like that, and then I'd pick up a few off the ground and throw it away, but I never said anything directly to him. Then I just started griping to him about other people that are just throwing their garbage around and stuff. Eventually he got the hint and stopped throwing his stuff on the ground, but some people just, I don't know, it's just, I'm not a fan of people who just throw their garbage on the ground. And, so something like going in Vietnam and stuff, where that was common to throw all the stuff in the ditch. And I've seen this before, and even in smaller communities in the United States, it's very frowned upon in the United States. Actually, it's illegal. But where they throw it in the ditch until the ditch fills up, and then they burn all the garbage, and then they hope the next rain will, wash it out and down into the ocean or whatever, all the burnt stuff. Just wash it away. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You need someone. Your landfills are pretty well our best solution, unfortunately, because if you burn something, it just changes the chemical, properties of it, and it turns from one state to another state, and it's just going into the air. Anyway, yeah. So that was strange, because what happened. So it was like bus station, building, and then that park. Well, so many people were already trying to sleep at the bus station anyway, but this park just filled up with like homeless people. So what happens when something gets very ugly like that within the city and stuff, you start to get vigilante groups, right? And it was, of all people, it was vigilante children, right? So usually the vigilante children become vigilante children because of their parents and stuff. Like I know a lot of children of police officers where the police officers have bad attitudes towards homeless people and stuff. Their children grow up that way too, and they see them as lesser than human or no reason to live at all. Better off dead. Homeless people are better off dead type thing. And then they go out at nights and stuff and beat up homeless people, and this is pretty common. So it's something you have to be aware of. But then these vigilante groups, like these children, started mobbing these areas and stealing everything from the homeless people while they slept on this side, because they knew they could probably get money, probably get drugs, and stuff like that. Small amounts of money, but still, they would take the stuff from these people, go around the building to the park over here, go through all the stuff real quick, throw their stuff down, steal everything from these people, go over to the bus station side, go through all the stuff real quick, throw the stuff down, so when all the homeless people woke up this next day, all their stuff was just spread out everywhere. And they would do it in big enough groups that if they were caught, well, then they would just all gang up on that one person or how many ever there was. And so Phoenix was not an easy spot at all to actually be homeless. It was very dangerous there, and they have a problem. They have a homeless problem and a drug problem there. No, but anyway, that's unfortunate that things like that happen. And there's one way to avoid that is not to be that city bum. Honestly, just keep traveling. As long as you're on the move and you're traveling and you go to the smaller towns and stuff like that, then you're just traveling through and you're seeing nature and you're seeing stuff like that. But as soon as you stay in one spot and you go to the city, then you become a bum. But I was required to stay in a spot like that because I had to take some classes, basically like, you know how they make you take DUI classes and stuff like that. Well, I got caught with a little bit of weed, and I had and I had to do like, I think 3 months of just what was it? I think I got it done in 3 months. It was 6 months scheduled, but if I got everything paid off and stuff, it was just to get it off my record. And that was because at the time Arizona was zero tolerance. Now I think that it's fully legal. I'm not sure. You might still need a doctor's note. I don't know. But so don't ever think I really did anything bad in my life. It's just living this life and stuff. They like to throw you behind bars. It's the Otis effect, like off of Andy Griffin. Yeah, they're like, he's a town drunk, throw him in jail, and let him go the next day. I had a lot of that. Okay, guys, let's see, where am I? Oh, 37 minutes. I gotta wrap this up. Yeah, I think so too, Flea. You said, yeah, get a secondary SIM card in case the first one experiences problem. The Wi-Fi and the SIM cards here are so cheap that it's beneficial to have it's really nice actually having two different ones. Because but I think I'll just keep them both, the Digi type ones, because just if they're the best, unless you guys can recommend a different network, because having the two different ones, the coverage is different. So like when U-Mobile was doing bad, Hotlinks was usually better, and when Hotlinks was doing better, U-Mobile was better, or you know what I'm saying, vice versa. So if there's a secondary one like Digi that you guys recommend, tell me. Otherwise, I'll just do two Digi cards and just have twice the bandwidth. And I mean, it's cheap enough, you know what I'm saying? But I think I'm going that way. I'm not sure. Can I run two cards off of one count? That's what I'm not worried, or that's not what I'm kind of wondering about. If not, I'll have to set up two accounts. Oh yeah, no, I know about the wild animals. Lee mentioned the ravens and stuff will just take stuff out of the garbage can. I'm assuming you're talking about over in Japan. They don't have it for that reason. Well, you see that a lot, man. You can have garbage cans, and yeah, the birds get to it. We used to have the raccoons get to it too. Um, yeah, Cellcom acquired Digi. Yeah, um, I was told that before their CS. Okay, guys. Well, I'm at 40 or going on 40 minutes here. I'm gonna try and keep these to like half an hour, even though I went over. I think I got everybody's comments, but if I miss you guys' comment or something, just just leave me a comment in any of the videos. I'll get to them. Today, I'm gonna go ahead and try and finish off getting, I already have it uploaded, I just need to throw a thumbnail and stuff, yesterday's video. I was gonna get up earlier today and go to the trails or go to the beach. So there's two things I wanna do before I leave here. There's a big beach up north only about 5 or 6 kilometers from here. And in the trails that you'll see on this video once I get a thumbnail for it. But it took a while to actually find because using organic maps will kind of show you where the trails meet up with the roads, but organic map wasn't too accurate on that one. So I hit dead end after dead end. I mean, if it's listed, it could have been there at one time, but it's just overgrown. So eventually I did find one opening into the trails. So those are the two main things I want to do. And actually, I'm starting to meet some of the people. I met someone yesterday that actually watches some of my videos. Some of his friends sent him my videos and says, "Hey, he's in your part of he's in your city right now." So yeah, it's kind of cool. So if I am dropping by, you guys see me, make sure you yell loud enough that I just don't think it's some type of derogatory, Otherwise, if you just call me, what is it, Matt, what is it, Matt Sayer? Or no, it's, what is your guys' slang for white foreigners again? It's Matt something. Oh, Matt Sala. Someone, okay, the story is that someone actually was saying Matt Sala. He's like, I take a picture with Matt Sala tomorrow. So I Google Matt Sala, and there's an actual picture that comes up. I was like, but it's like a very old painting, and I'm like, this person? He goes, no. So he had explained to me that it's a word for foreigner, kind of like in Hawaii they had Holly. Holly was a white foreigner. So yeah, it's Matt Sala. I'll change my name to Matt Sala. That way I'll be the most famous white foreigner that there is. Everybody will know my name. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Thanks for joining me, guys. Yeah, today I don't know what I'll do. I might go hit the trails. I might not, but I'll figure it out, as the day progresses. And yeah, it's 10:45. I better figure out what I'm doing. All right, guys. Thank you. And peace out.